Welcome to the RC Community Sticker Project, brought to you by Fast Freddy RC. In today's video, we're doing a shout-out to Larry's RC Room. Great guy, great kits, killer crawler track in his backyard. So for step 24, attaching the steering linkage. Well, we're going to take the linkage that we just had, and now there's a shaft that's going to go through the bottom of the chassis into this and then into the bottom. And what's interesting is the way that that shaft is held in place is actually through a screw that you screw in from the side, and then the shaft isn't able to come out. Now it shows here they want 2 of those and 2 of the shafts, because at the back they still want you to put the pin in and put the screw through. Well, I'm not really sure why that is if you're not building this with the 4-wheel steering. I don't see a point to it. Maybe we'll see that later. But because we are doing the 4-wheel steering, I am not going to do this step at this point. We are only going to do this, and we'll leave this pin and the screw until later, because we're going to need to not have that attached to be able to put the 4-wheel steering linkage in there. Or I should say the rear steering linkage in there. So we're only going to do the front for this. So I'll set this up and we'll just put that together. So as you can see, it's going to go into the chassis like that, essentially. So if we grab the chassis itself, this needs to slide through there so that these 2 arms are on this side. But you'll see that on the inside, we need to actually get this level and onto there, which you can see. And then we take our push pin, and it says you're going to push that through, and it's going to go all the way down. And it does say push that in. So if we push that in, and I'll use the screw just to help with that, it's now in place. So what's left is we need to screw this into there. So that's just, you can see the push pin inside there. This screw is going to hold it in place. So we'll grab our screwdriver and we're going to screw it in. All right, so it's at the end. I'm not going to over tighten that, but it's there. So you can see from the bottom, the screw is holding that pin completely in place. So now the steering linkage, well here, let's hold it this way, is all in place. And I have to tell you, that feels super smooth. Obviously, it's got a lot to do with the fact that those are ball bearings now, but that is super smooth. And then it's going to be a matter of snapping these in place. Now, as I said to you before, I don't like doing this right away until I can figure out everything in terms of its positioning. So I don't think I'm going to do the same, or I should say, I think I'm going to do the same here. I'm not going to snap these on yet. I'm going to wait until we've got the rear steering linkage assembly in place, the rear servo in place, so that if there's any adjustments that need to be done on this, I can adjust. And the same thing for these arms themselves. I'm going to need to take a closer look to see if they aren't right or if they are right. So for example, if I grab those 2 arms, you can see that if I was to level this out, they're probably going to be okay, but I actually think it's not quite right. They're not quite level. So I'll do the final adjustments when we get the rear steering linkage in place as well. So ultimately, that is it for step 24. So we can now move on to step 25 and do the RC equipment check.